Got it. Hey, I'm Emily. I've been doing Monate for like 5 years now, something like that. It's been a hot minute. I've been around the block. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys all about social media. We're talking about how to build your brand, how to find your target audience, and what that looks like in creating brand loyalty and how you can use that to your advantage with sharing Monate. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if it'll put me to the right screen. Feel free to say hi in the comments, chat with everybody. I'm going to exit out of Facebook so that doesn't blow everybody up here in a sec. Okay. Hello. Let's go ahead and present this little puppy. If it'll let me. Guys, I'm gonna run into every technical possibility issue there could ever be. That's just how it's gonna work around here today, okay? Just a heads up, I can't see the chat, so I'll answer any questions. There's gonna be a little bit of time for some Q&A at the end of this, so any question you guys have, feel free to drop it in the chat. I'll do my best to go back and answer anything and everything you guys have. So we're going to start off with talking about how to build your personal brand. And I think this is going to be really good information for anybody who is brand new to this business. Maybe you've never done social media before. Maybe you are in the process of wanting to change how you do things, or maybe you're somebody who's been here for a while and what you've been doing hasn't been working. And so you're ready to change it up and figure out how to kind of evolve in this social media space. I'm going to be mainly talking about Instagram today, but a lot of these like tools and practices and stuff you can take to other social media platforms as well. So this will be really helpful for just about everything. So let's dive into building your personal brand. So I was looking up just some quick facts today all about personal branding. And the biggest one that stuck out to me was the fact that employees have 10 times more followers than the company they work for. Now, obviously, with Monate, this may not be true across the board, but I feel like it's really important to mention, mainly because of the fact that when people join Monate, it's really easy. And actually, this goes for any direct sales company, if we're being honest. It's really easy to get stuck in like adopting everything that Monate puts out, or everything even that your upline puts out, or anything like that, and having that become your brand. Like Monate becomes your brand, and that's all people see from you. And that is not at all what we want to do here, especially because we are people who are all multi-passionate, and we have a lot of things that we love and we love to talk about. And I really want you to hone in on that and really own that. So I want to drive this home. You are the brand, okay? There is nothing else outside of that. It's just you and who you authentically are. You need to share every bit and piece of your life. I mean, not every bit and piece, obviously don't air out your dirty laundry, but you know what I mean? Like the things that you love, you know, share those things, and that's how you're going to connect with people really, really well. Obviously, we're going to have to work Monate into that, but there's a way to do that with grace, and a way to do that where it's not just like shoving Monate in people's faces 24/7, you know what I mean? So we're going to talk a little bit about how to do that. So how in the world do you turn all that you are into a brand? How do you become the brand and really stick out to people? So there's two different types of people on social media, and there's two different ways that you can take this. So the first route that I suggest for people to take, especially if you are brand new to ever branding yourself on social media, maybe you've never done it before, maybe it's something totally different, I want to encourage you to pick 3 to 5 different things that you're passionate about. These can be, they can be a number of things. Maybe you're into fitness, maybe you're a mom and you love talking about motherhood, maybe you love healthy eating or cooking or sharing what you make. Another one could be your dog, like, I don't know, so many different things. Pick 3 to 5 of those. And what I want to encourage you to do, I'm giving you a little piece of homework right off the bat, and this is going to go for the second option as well, is I want you to take a piece of paper, any piece of paper, and write down each of those topics on a piece of paper. And I want you to brainstorm every single piece of content you could possibly think of that would go with that. And what you're going to do is you're just going to rotate through all of those. Like Monday, you'll post from this, pillar. Next day, you'll post from this one. Next, you'll post from this one, so on and so forth. It's super duper simple, and it's a really easy way to incorporate everything that you are. And now that's mainly for your feed. For your stories, honestly, I'm encouraging you to just go all out and just post about whatever is happening in the moment, but show up and show up as who you are and be real. Talk about what your day is like looking like, what you're doing. Be honest, just go through it. It's fine. Stories, they're like the unhinged version of your real life. And I love it so much. It's kind of a way people get to peel back the curtain and see what's going on in your life. So that's where, honestly, like, stick with your 3 to 5 things if you can, but also don't worry about posting something that doesn't completely match up with that, especially in your stories. Now, the second way that you can do this, the second type of people that are on social media are going to be the people who have an expertise in a specific area. So maybe you have a certification in a specific area, or maybe you worked a certain job for a little while. There could be so many different things that you have a certification in, and you can use that to your advantage on social media. And I'm going to share in a little bit a couple of different examples, but like one just off the top of my head, a girl who's on our team, her name's Taylor Cole. She literally only talks about cleaning on her Instagram page, and it's my favorite thing ever. And she's also one of our top leaders in personal volume in our downline, which is insane. So like, you can talk about something that's very, very niche and very, very specific if you have a lot of experience in that area. So another one that comes to mind is like, I don't remember her name, but she was a teacher, and she was talking about different activities that you can do as a kindergarten teacher with your kids, whether that be in class, or maybe you can even take that if you're like a homeschool mom or something, you can do that with your kids, stuff like that. So if you have any specific expertise, you can utilize that for sure. You just have to tie Monet into it, and that'll probably happen a lot more in stories than anything, but you can also throw it in on your feed as well. So that's how you start the brand. Now, the next couple of things that I want to touch on are how to stand out, because it is really important to stand out. I mean, you're probably thinking there's so many other people that are sharing about this, that, and the other. There's so many other moms on Instagram. There's so many other people talking about fashion on Instagram. There's so many other people talking about food. So you have to start thinking about what is going to make you stick out. How are you going to be different? So the first one I like to hit on is aesthetics. And although this isn't necessarily the most important thing, I think it's still really important to mention, because Instagram is still a very visual platform. People still love to see pretty things, even if it doesn't all match. That's totally fine. It doesn't all have to match all the time. However, I think, I don't know about you guys, but like, I personally, if I go onto somebody's feed and I see that all of their stuff is really cohesive and it just goes together, maybe they have like a specific way of editing their photos that just sticks out really, really well, or maybe they have a specific brand color in their feed that I like. If it sticks out, like, I'm drawn to that, and I know a lot of other people are too. I know I'm not the only one like that. So it's not 100% necessary. However, it is really, really helpful. So I want to encourage you to just hop onto Pinterest. Pinterest is going to be your best friend when coming up with stuff like this, and create some sort of a mood board. So like, that's what are pictured here, just different examples of what you can do for a mood board. Just think of things that feel like you. I love how in this top left one, or top right one, sorry, it talks about keywords, and like, what are some keywords that you want people to think of when they come to your page? How do you want people to feel when they see your content? Those are examples of how you can start to brand yourself and move yourself forward with that. You can also game plan different color palettes. You can go onto Pinterest and find all kinds of stuff. Another thing too that I like to mention, and this just comes naturally to me personally, because I really only wear certain colors, and I don't mean to do it. That's just kind of how it ends up. But whenever you take photos for Instagram, try and stick with, like, I don't want to say like a capsule wardrobe, but like, if you have specific colors that stick out that you wear all the time, like, that'll be really noticeable in your feed. And that's a really simple, easy way to kind of brand yourself right there and kind of have your own color palette. Like, if you wear black, white, nude, and denim, which is what I typically wear, like, that's my feed. That's basically what's on there, is black, white, nude, and denim with a pop of green every once in a while. It's a super easy way to stand out. Another thing in terms of aesthetics, and this is, I think everybody should take advantage of this, is finding some sort of an editing style that fits with you. This can be using an app like Tezza. If you've never heard of that, it's basically a preset app. You just upload photos to it and it's like a one-click filter. You can also go online and buy presets from other people, whether it be photographers or influencers or whatever. Typically, they have their own kind of like filters that they sell for other people. Oh, I have a missed call from Sarah. Whoops. Anyways, hopefully everybody got on here okay. So you can buy presets that way if you want, or maybe if you're into something more minimal. Honestly, editing on your iPhone is so simple nowadays, and people are kind of leaning more towards the less edited kind of photos anyways. So play around with that, see what matches your vibe, see what goes along with your mood board as well, and go from there. Now, number 2, consistency. The number one thing that's going to get you to stand out to people is by not ever going away. And I don't mean that in a sense of like you can't take a break, but I mean be consistent. Like if like the person that shows up on their stories every single day, like they're gonna not just get so many more customers, but also get more engaged followers, people who want to talk to them and like hang out with them and, you know, have conversation with them. And that's our goal on social media, is to build those relationships. I mean, just think about your upline and whoever you signed up under. Maybe like for me, I signed up under Haley Stell, and she was constantly on her stories all the time, delivering value and hanging out. And like at the time, she was posting on her feed every single day and like stuff that I could just really relate to. So consistency is going to be the biggest thing that you can possibly do for your brand. Doesn't matter if it's pretty or not. I don't care. You just need to show up. I'm not going to tell you how often you need to show up. I think stories are a daily thing that needs to happen, but I think throughout your feed, you can get away with like posting 3 to 4 times a week. I think last week I only posted 1 time on my feed. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt. I'm just going to be honest here. However, you do need to show up in some capacity, in some way, shape, or form. Now, the next thing is you need to be clear on your audience, which brings me to the next thing, is how to find, oops, I had that out of order. So in a second, we're going to talk about how to find your target audience, but having an idea of who you're talking to whenever you go in to create your content is going to be super helpful in relating to the right people and creating the right engagement. You want to build like a cult following, essentially, that just like is waiting for you to make the next post, or is there like going to their Instagram and pulling it up and they're like, oh man, she hasn't made a story yet today that I can sit and laugh at or relate to or whatever, learn something from. You want people to want to learn from you. Okay, these are a couple of examples in terms of aesthetics of feeds that I absolutely love and adore. And I think they did a great job with balancing, you know, maybe not being super duper, what's the word, like matchy with their stuff. I know that was really popular for a while, but I love the vibes of these. So for example, Lindsay Plaviak, I think we all know her. She's in Monet, and her stuff is very dark and moody, but like very much like I'm going to pump you up kind of thing. The next girl on here, her name is, I think it's like Kaylin is her name. But she is actually an Arbonne girl, and I just absolutely love her content. I vibe with all of it so much, and I just love the way that it's very minimally edited, but it's still all is really cohesive and really goes together. The next one is, her name is the Lit Homebody. Her name is Tessa. If you are in the Bookstagram world at all, then you probably know who she is. She's really popular, but I just love her feed so much. It's very bright and airy, and like I go to her page and it just makes me happy. Like it gives me so much joy just to go on there, and I'm like, oh, I'm learning about books too. It's so cute. So those are a couple of examples of what it can look like to have an aesthetic feed. Obviously, like you don't have to be super duper matchy with every single thing or even superposed, but you can be if you want. And there's a way to do it that's pretty simple. Okay, next we're going to be talking about finding your target audience and how to relate to them. So when it comes to defining your target audience, the best question that you can ask yourself is, who are you? Because chances are the person that you are trying to relate to is literally you, like maybe a year, 2 years, 5 years ago. Stuff that you wish that you would have known way back when and that you're sharing. Like they can be like, oh my gosh, yes, I totally need that. So I want you to think of your personal defining characteristics. So things that you can think of. Some people are very into this part of it, and you can go as deep into it as you want. I know like Allie Reeves, she's another business owner who works in branding and marketing and stuff like that. She has a thing on her page where it's like a 4-page document where you fill out your ideal client, your ideal follower, et cetera, and like you go into like their background and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. So you can go that deep into it if you want, or you can just keep it pretty simple and figure out like what's your ideal, person's age range, what's their gender, what is their job title, what are they doing right now, what are their hobbies, what is their goals, what is their mindset. That has been a really important one for me to think about in the content that I post, especially whenever I'm posting Monat related content. I want to make sure it's going to appeal to the right kind of person who is going to understand what I'm saying and what I'm getting at when I talk about the business side of things. So that's just something to think about whenever you are posting about Monat content. So those are the few things you want to think about: age range and gender, their job title, if they have a job title, their hobbies and what they're doing on a regular basis, their goals, and their mindset. Okay. Next thing is, how do you connect with your target audience? How do you find them? There's 3 ways that you can do this. First off, you create the content for them. It's so easy nowadays to get your stuff in front of other people's eyes, especially through Reels. I know Reel views are down recently for a lot of people, but every time I go to my insights on a specific Reel, the number of people that are not currently my followers that have seen that video and watched it all the way through are usually so much more than the people that are actually following me, which I find kind of crazy. So you can always create more content, and that comes with the consistency piece. The more consistent you are, the more eyes that Instagram is going to show your stuff to. Same thing goes with TikTok, okay? The more consistent you are, the more people are going to see your stuff. Another thing you can do in terms of the content that you create is go back to really good Reels that not went viral, but like you did really well on, and look at the people who liked your post. Those are automatically people who have subscribed to whatever it is that you're doing. They like it. It's an easy way to start a conversation with them, and it's an easy person to like connect with and start a relationship with. So create that content for them, draw them in. That's how you will bring in the correct target audience. The next thing that you can do is utilize hashtags and keywords. Now, some people might call this outdated. I don't think it is, and here's why. Hashtags, maybe. I don't think hashtags are totally necessary, but I also think about how a lot of people are very behind on Instagram trends. And they may not know that, hashtags aren't a thing. So they're still utilizing hashtags. They're still searching hashtags whenever they need help with something. Same thing kind of goes with keywords. I don't know about you guys, but like TikTok and Instagram, they're Google to me now. I don't go to Google for anything. I literally go to TikTok or Instagram. That's it. Or Pinterest occasionally. Same thing for all of them, right? I search keywords in there. So whenever you are creating your content, I want you to include hashtags and specific keywords that people are looking for. You can do that either down at the bottom, in the comments, like whatever it is. And you can also utilize hashtags and keywords to search other people within your target audience and connect with them that way. The next way to connect with, won't touch TikTok. That's funny. Hey, it's a really, really good, like I actually really enjoy it. Obviously, there's a dark side of TikTok if you get there, but for the most part, I feel like I've curated what I like to watch for the most part to be like, so like business related content or funny stuff that makes me laugh or, anyways, I could go on a tangent about TikTok. But the next way that you can find your target audience is look to other influencers that are within your same niche. And you can do this by either looking at who follows them. You can go to their recent posts and see who's commented on their posts or see who's liked their posts and just look for people that way. This is your way to start conversations with people that can build relationships and then, maybe eventually turn into something more for your business or turn into a new friend, whatever it is that you're looking for, okay? So don't be afraid to go and look to other people who might be inspiration to you to connect with their people too. Okay. The last thing we're going to talk about is building customer loyalty. And this is something that I recently have been really passionate about So in terms of social media, the best thing that you can do, obviously, we've already talked about this. Number one is be you, be exactly who you are, be authentic, because that helps people to trust you. The more authentic you are, the more likely somebody is to buy into whatever the heck it is that you're doing, whatever you're talking about, whatever you're teaching, whatever you're selling. It doesn't matter. The more authentic you are, it just sells better. People can feel when you're not being who you truly are, when you're trying to be something that you're not. So I want to encourage you, like, you may see other people in this business who look like they got it all, and maybe you see them and you think you have to act a certain way or be a certain way. I'm here to tell you, you do not. I literally show up on my stories every single day with like a messy bun in my hair, and I don't have makeup on. And I'm usually wearing the same t-shirt that I've been wearing for the past 3 days, but my kids spit up on it. And like, that's reality and that's life. Obviously, it's not like that all the time, but like, don't be afraid to just come as you are and show up as you are and be who you are. You don't have to talk a certain way. You don't have to look a certain way. Just be you. Number two, obviously we know this. We already talked about this. Be consistent. That is the best way to build trust. It's like, think about whenever you signed up for Monat, you signed up under the person you signed up under because they show up day in and day out, no matter what, and you trust them on a certain level. Them showing up like that creates a sense of trust within you. It makes you want to like you believe in them. You believe in what they're about and what they're doing. Same thing goes with your social media. Nobody's going to buy into whatever the heck it is that you're doing, selling, talking about, anything like that, unless you show up daily and you have that commitment to yourself and to your brand and to your business to show up every single day. And the last one is follow up. And this is the one that I absolutely love. And I'm going to talk in terms of your customers and also in terms of your like prospects and stuff like that, is follow up with people. Now, this can go one of two ways. You can either use follow up in terms of like connecting with people and just checking back in on conversations with them, or in terms of your actual customers and prospects. I am a stan for project broadcasts. Okay, so if you are new to this business or you've been doing this for a while and you've never heard of it, go on your phone right now, go download it. It does cost money. It's worth every single penny. Look, I am a scatterbrained mom. I have 4 kids. They're all 5 and under. It's chaos 24/7 here, okay? I'm also just not very good at remembering anything, but I want to make sure that my customers are very well taken care of. So I utilize Project Broadcast, and I have a whole other training on this that you can go and look back up. Just search Project Broadcast and Hustle and Heart, and it'll pop up, I promise. I'm also planning on doing another training on it soon that walks you through how to set up everything. But basically what it is it's a texting service that you can use with your customers. It almost acts like a work phone within your phone, which I love. And you can set it up to where it'll automatically send messages to people. It's almost like an email drip campaign, but with text message. And I don't know about you guys, but my customers respond so much better to text messages than they do to emails. Half of my people don't see emails. They're completely pointless, in my opinion. So text has been really, really helpful with that. And I have it set up to where, like, as soon as they sign up, I have them text this keyword to my phone, to my Project Broadcast number, and it immediately sets them into this drip campaign that like checks in on them, the day after they sign up, reminding them of their VIP perks. And then like 3 days later, telling them how to wash. And, 5 days later, checking in to see if they've gotten their products, yes, and then asking about their first wash, and like so on and so forth for an entire year of check-ins. It's amazing. If you don't have it, you absolutely need it. And I also use it for prospects as well, because whenever people take my hair quiz, I get their phone number and I send them their cart through my Project Broadcast number to their phone number. That's how they get it from me. And that way I automatically add them into like a prospect section on my Project Broadcast. So whenever there's a flash sale, I can just send a mass text out to everybody. And it's so great. And they see it and they respond to it so much better, because let's be honest, not everybody's on their Instagram all the time, right? So that's where text message comes in. I absolutely love it. And I know this is kind of like a little bit separate from the rest of the conversation we've been having tonight, but I had to throw it in because it has been my bread and butter for increasing my personal volume. So I had to share that. But that's essentially it. That's really all we got tonight. If you need me to go more in depth about anything, You're welcome to ask questions. I'll be hanging out for a few minutes. Let me go through the chat and see if I missed anything. Hold on, I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. How do I stop sharing my screen? My goodness. Stop sharing. There it is. Okay. What questions do you guys have for me? Yes, Project Broadcast is an app. You can also, there's a desktop version as well. It's a lot easier to use, but you can set everything up on your phone if you want. So if you want to refer back to the Project Broadcast training I did, you can just search Project Broadcast in Hustle and Heart and it should pop up. There's also a PDF in there that has all of my templates that I use. So all of the messages that I send at random times, whatever. Do you have recommendations on how to start those conversations? So yes, when it comes to starting those conversations, typically what I like to do is I start with stories. And I go through and I just see if they posted any stories. And I think of literally anything I can to respond to them, you know, in some way, shape, or form. I'm not the kind of person who immediately texts somebody and I'm like, or messages somebody and I'm like, hey, you should try Monat. Like, that's just not my vibe. Personally, I like to connect with people on a relationship level without any attachment to whether they're going to sign up with Monat or not. That's just not who I am. If they see what I'm doing later and they relate to it, cool, they'll hop on and that's great. But otherwise, I'm not going to push it on somebody. So I always hop on relationally first. I find a way that we can connect. If they haven't posted a story or anything like that, it's a lot harder, but typically I'll just go through it on their recent post or recent reel or whatever it is, and I'll just comment on it. And then I follow them so I can see later if they've ever posted anything. That's for the most part how I connect with those people. Okay, let me scroll back. Okay, I didn't miss any major questions. Okay. Okay. Any other questions you guys have for me? I'm an open book. You're welcome to ask literally anything. It doesn't even have to be about what we just talked about, to be honest, either. Yes, Project Broadcast has been an absolute game changer. It's the best. How to make project. Oh, that's a good one. Okay. This is a hard one. But fun fact, by the way. Hold on. Let me pull this up because on Project Broadcast, I don't know if you know this, but you can pull up message insights. Where is my Project Broadcast here? So I'll send every single flash sale we have. I send out a mass text to literally everybody who follows me or anything like that. And you can click on that message that you sent in the past and it'll tell you the insights of like, hey, you need to fix this. Like, for example, this one, I know it's really hard to tell, but it's got like this sliding bar that'll show you in red if the message absolutely sucks and in green if the message is good. Does that make sense? Like, it'll tell you highlights. We could not find any links at the beginning, blah, blah, blah. We couldn't find any shortened URLs. Cool. Opportunities. Longer messages are typically not read by the recipient. So it tells you, hey, you should do shorter messages. Words in all caps may decrease your deliverability. Oops, I use all caps all the time. You know, whatever. Using salesy language may decrease your deliverability. So if you use the word sale, like it'll tell you that's salesy. Now, in terms of writing out an actual message and sounding like a real human, something that can be really helpful is not voice messaging, but like doing like voice to text and just talking about it. And then going back through and editing how it sounds. So that way it sounds like you're actually talking and how you would be a normal human. You're not like, hi, there's a Monat sale happening now. You should buy it. Like, does that make sense? I hope that helps. There's also a few words that you can't use on there. I try not to use the word sale as much as I can, but it's kind of hard not to. So what else did I miss? Oops, that's I'm doing all the things you're saying, but not gaining followers. Ooh, see, and that can be hard. And that's where you either A, have to continue sticking it out, or B, pivot. And I won't lie to you, I am the queen of pivoting because not only do I not see results, but I also just get bored of whatever the heck I'm doing. And so I have been the girl who talked about social media all the time. I gave all the social media marketing tips and it was so fun. And it was great. And I really love that kind of content, but I only attracted those Monat people. So, there was that. And then I switched and I only talked about motherhood for the longest time. And that was great too. But I was, having people follow me that just weren't motivated. Like they would join me in the business, but they weren't motivated or anything like that. Or, I just didn't like relate to them on a mindset level, And so you kind of just have to continue trying things out and honestly let your followers dictate what it is they want you to talk about too. That can be really helpful. So you'll see influencers nowadays and they have one thing they talk about. They talk about fashion or they talk about the things they've bought on Amazon. They probably didn't start out that way. Like, for example, Emily Smith, she's a great example because she did not start out talking about the stuff that she got from, what's the name of that website? That I don't know, Bougie on a Budget, all of her stuff that DHgate, that's it. She didn't start out talking about all of that stuff. She made a couple of videos one day and they just went viral. And now she makes them every single day. Like you just have to keep going until you find that one thing that sticks out and then you can just run home with that. And I mean, that's where stories come into play too, is like, you can talk about all the things on there and like, not hide anything or hold anything back, but on your feed, like to reach more people, really hone in on that one thing that sticks out. So love the message. Invite super helpful. Yeah, using caps isn't good, but I use caps in like my daily conversation. So it is what it is. Oh yeah, you can't use CBD either, by the way. So that's a fun one. That's where you're just like, hey, there's something going on. Check the graphic that I shared because you can share pictures too and it can be in there and that's fine. Excitement. Yes. Excitement brings excitement. Yes. They can like sense when you're excited about something. Okay. I'm going to leave you guys for the evening. Thank you all for hopping on and dealing with the craziness that was all of this trying to get onto the call. I'll post the recording as soon as I have it all finished. And yeah, thank you guys for spending your evening with me. I hope y'all learned a lot tonight. Thank you guys. Bye y'all.